Hello, I'm Adam Stanislav. I recently bought myself a little Pico computer, the Raspberry Pi. This is it, inside of an acrylic case. And it uses these microSD cards, which are very small, so I use an adapter where it is inserted to, and then I insert that, and I plug that into the Pico, the Pi rather, Raspberry Pi. And the thing is, these cards, they don't last forever, so we need to make backups of them. So I got this little SanDisk thumb drive rather, that we can stick inside of a USB port. And in this part 1 of the backup, I will show you how to do that on your Windows computer, doing with little less than just the micro SD card itself and the thumb drive. So let's get started. Okay, here we are at a Windows computer, and you may have been told that you need VirtualBox with Linux running inside of it in order to make a backup of your microSD card from a Windows computer. And well, no, you don't, and I will show you how you can do it in a very simple way in this video, and in the next video I will show you a different way that is perhaps not as simple, but that frees your Windows computer, because this whole process takes a long time depending on the size of your SD card, micro SD card. So let's connect to my Raspberry Pi called Ender5, because I actually obtained it to control my Ender5 3D printer. Let's go on. And here we are connected. Let's go full screen. And let's take a look at the size of this card. We type DF dash lowercase h capital T, and it shows us what we have. At the bottom there is dev SDA1, that's actually the thumb drive that I showed you, and then there is a dev MMC book 0P1 VFAT called boot, and that is 44 megabytes. That's on this card, and only 22 megabytes are used, but that's not much of a difference. But on the top it says /dev/root type ext4, that's still Linux file system, and it says the size of this partition is 30 gigabytes, but only 5.4 gigabytes are used. That's 20% of it. So presumably our backup, combining 5.4 gigabytes with maybe 44 megabytes, shouldn't be much more than 5.5, a little maybe over 5.5 gigabytes, right? Well, let's see. First of all, we have to shut down. Sudo shut down now will end the system. And the next step for me is to go to the Raspberry Pi and physically disconnect it from the power, then pull out the drive and also the thumb drive and connect them to my Windows computer, and when I do, I'll be back. Back in Window, now we can see drive G marked boot, which is the microSD card and drive H, which says SD thumb because that's the SanDisk thumb drive. And when I first received it yesterday, I was unable to use it for this because it was formatted as FAT32, which is limited to files no larger than 4 gigabytes, and we're talking about 5.5 gigabytes, right? So I had to reformat it, kind of like this. I'm not going to repeat it, but had to use the exFAT file system, which is not limited that way. And of course, I didn't use a quick format. I used the regular format, and it took quite a while because it's a 128 gigabyte drive, according to SanDisk, or actually 119 gigabytes in computer terms. So now we need to copy the raw copy of the boot drive, or not just the boot, but the entire, all of the data on the G drive to an image file on the H drive. So for that we use win32discimager.exe. If you don't have it, look at the internet, search the internet for Win32discimager, and you can download it from there. Now, when we first open it, it looks ridiculous, so I have to enlarge it. Now we can see it already says drive G is the device, the boot device, and the image file, we're not going to write the image file to the drive, we're going to read the drive into an image file, and I want it on drive H, which is the thumb drive, backslash pi, and just use today's date, so dash 2019-03-03, and it's very important to type .img. Now we only want the 5.5 or whatever gigabytes, not the entire 31 gigabytes, so we say read only allocated partitions, and then we click on read, and gosh, I've already done it. I'm not going to repeat it because it took several hours. Why? Well, let's look at the size of this file. 31 billion, 166 million, and so on. Gosh, 31 million gigabytes, that is, kilobytes. This is almost a full 32 gigabytes on the drive. That's what it is. The Win32 disk or any other disk imager is just reading the raw data from the file. So what can we, from the disk rather. So now we need to shrink it. How do we shrink it? Well, most people will send you to Linux in a virtual box. That's completely unnecessary. What we're going to do, we're going back to here, and I'm going to click on thumb drive, and there is no eject here. Oh yeah, there is eject. It's no longer part of the system, so I can pull it, well, the thumb drive and also the G drive, I'm sorry, both of them. I also need the G drive ejected, so we eject both of them, and now we can take them back to the Raspberry Pi, and I will see you in a moment, as soon as I've inserted them both in Raspberry Pi and turned the power in it back on. All right, now we can log into Ender 5 again. Let's see, let's enlarge it. And I have already done this, but if you've never done it, we need to install some software. So first, let's type sudo apt get update space ampersand space sudo apt get upgrade to make sure that you have the latest system available at this very moment, which I probably do because I do it every day. But let's see. We'll see what we need. If anything, 3 packages store, reading package lists, and I bet I don't need anything. Oh, I do need something, so let's install it. And you may be faced with the same thing, so this is not a waste of time. This is what it takes to do it all. And it installs a new version of the secured shell, which is interesting because we're logged in through the secured shell. I hope it's not going to kick us off. No, it's not. So now we need to sudo apt-get install, and we need 3 things to be able to read and write Windows drives, because by default Raspbian doesn't read them. So the first one of them is called NTFS-3G. The second one is called exFAT-fuse, and as you know, my thumb drive is exFAT, and we also need to be able to eject it, so eject. And I already have this, so nothing's going to be happening there. But we need another thing, which again I already have. Okay, so we need to type wget space https://raw dot git hub user content .com slash what? Capital D REU, that's Drusif, slash capital P pi, capital S shrink, all one word, pi shrink, slash, now it's all lowercase, master slash pi shrink dot sh. And you only need to do this once. Okay, what did I do wrong? Nothing, as far as I can tell. raw.github user content.com drusif slash pi shrink slash master slash pi shrink. Oh, I see. Slash Pa. I had an extra H here. Okay, now it downloaded it very fast, and we need to change it into an executable. So we type chmod space plus X. That'll make it executable. PyShrink.sh. And one more thing, sudo install PyShrink.sh /usr/bin, and it will install it there. Okay, and you might want to reboot now, which you would do by sudo reboot, but I don't have to because I already have installed all that other stuff. So I'm going to quit from here, and I'm going to log in through a different piece of software, namely through the tight VNC full screen mode. And I have to type the password for that. And now it says no session. I don't know why it says it, but something's wrong. Let's see what is wrong. Oh, df-ht. Oh, media SD. That's where our thumb drive is. So let's change into it. cd/media/pi/some SD, whatever that is, and let's see what's in it. We have that image that we have created before, and as you can see, it's 31 or 32 almost gigabytes large. So we want to make it smaller, and therefore we type PyShrink.sh, don't forget that, -s. I use -s, which tells it not to expand once we restore it to a microSD card and boot from it. I don't want it to be automatically expanded, just as the default installation of Raspbian doesn't do that. So -s, but you can skip it if you don't want that. And the thing, and just press, and you need to be running as root, of course, silly me, sudo all that. And is it working? Skipping auto expanding process, that's the -s thing that I said. Is it going to take forever? We'll see. It's just on that one drive where it's already been, and it seems like it's not doing anything, but it is, because we are 28%, 31% busy, the system, and there's nothing else going on. 33%. You can see that in the upper right corner. 35, 31, 20, 22%, and so on. Very busy. And it seems like it's not doing anything, but it is doing something. We can kind of open a new tab, which we do by Ctrl-Shift-T, and let's see what's going on in that drive again, in that directory. Well, nothing that we can tell. but it is working. So let's go back to it. Skipping auto expanding process still. And now it's working. rootfs, resize, resizing the file system on dev loop 0, relocating blocks, and come on. Well, this is actually quite fast compared to, excuse me, quite fast compared to how long it took to produce this file under Windows, really taking up time and resources on my Windows computer. Therefore, in my next video, I will show you a little more involved method, but that will do all of it on the Pi, on the Raspberry Pi, and you can even turn off your Windows computer even though you logged into it. That's why actually I have come here using this graphical user interface, because this, if we did this from a secure shell, if this took forever, we couldn't quit the secure shell because it would just stop everything it is doing. But this, we're not actually running this software. This is just showing us whatever is, it's VNC, whatever is happening on the Pi itself. It's showing it on my Windows computer, but I could quit from here. Well, let me show you. Let me press Ctrl, Shift, Alt, F, and I'm going to quit the tight VNC viewer. And oops, I'm back. Oh no, did I kill it? Well, no, I didn't, which is easy to see. We go back, and we go back to full screen mode, and we have to start a new session and type the password in. That's a real pain, but we're back exactly where we not where we left off, where a couple of minutes, seconds, minutes, whatever, after, whatever, it continued working on the Raspberry Pi. It didn't stop. It wasn't interrupted. That's the advantage of using a VNC as opposed to a secure shell, because in the secure shell, if we quit, it would stop whatever process it was running. And pass 2 already. So what's it doing? It's taking a while. You can skip ahead if you want, or I will give you, when I have edited this, I will show you, I will just write it down on the screen or up on the screen somewhere at what time you can go to, what time you can go to if you want to skip all of this. But this is, this is real time. I'm not speeding it up. I want you to see, those of you who are curious, how long it takes. It's a very involved process. And it's taking, and it really, I would just quit this as I did before this VNC and come back maybe 10 minutes later, whatever. If I wasn't filming this, I would have done that. But I am here for you, and I keep talking, which is something I'm really not used to. I am not a talker. I am just a very quiet guy. Oh, gosh. Anyway, well, maybe some of you might even be curious about me. I am 68 years old. I'll be 69 on April 23. Yes, I was born in 1950, April 23. I am disabled physically. I have several amputated toes. I can barely walk. I spent most of my time sitting in a recliner chair. I'm just reading books and watching videos and programming computers. I have been programming since 1965. When I was in high school, I went to a very special high school which was a math high school, and within that high school there was one classroom, one room, homeroom A, and those of us who belonged to the A group, we specialized in computer programming. In 1965, believe it or not, before Unix, let alone Linux, nobody had heard about it back then. The programming languages back then were Fortran and COBOL, and assembly language, I guess, and each computer had its own system. There was no operating system that could be run on any computer. Nothing was compatible with anything else. And we used a Belarusian computer, Minsk 22, but we weren't allowed to touch it. We just learned about computer programming theoretically. And I remember in the first lesson, the engineer who was teaching us computer programming said that defined the computer as a fast-working idiot, because it works very fast, but it doesn't think. You have to tell it exactly what to do, and you can't blame anything on it, because it just doesn't think. At any rate, all through high school, we had 2 periods of mathematics every single day, except on weekends, of course. Every single school day, we had 2 periods of mathematics. Plus, we had additional stuff such as numerical analysis and descriptive geometry. And even on my high school diploma, it says specialized in computer programming. So that's how long I've been doing it. And yes, some of the computers we were allowed to touch used punch cards, and this was in Slovakia. That's why we used a Belarusian computer. This wasn't in America or something. I'm from Slovakia, and it seems like we're almost done here. At least I hope so, but I don't think, if I recall correctly, I've seen it before, it may do this relocating one more time. But, well, let's go to that other tab again. Control-Shift-T opens a new tab. And what's going on here? No difference yet. Still 32 gigabytes, and it's going to shrink it considerably because we know it only had 5.6 or so gigabytes of data, and you can exit from any window like this, the shell window, by pressing Control-D on Unix, by the way. Ah yes, now it's scanning the I know table, but it's doing it a lot faster, so it's coming to the end. Oh my goodness, it's been how many minutes? This is gonna be a long video. Ha! Well, YouTube has demonetized me because my videos are too short and I don't have enough subscribers and enough views, so maybe this will help me get monetized. Oh, by the way, that little strip that I showed you that I use for the microSD card to be the microSD connector and then adapter to regular SD card. Oh, Another pass. Okay, that one, I will post a link in the description, and if I forget, remind me in the messages below. And that link will be to Amazon where I got mine, and it will be what do you call it? One of those links that if you buy it, it'll cost you the same as if you didn't go through that link, but I may get a penny from it or something like that. I haven't earned any money from Amazon for several years now, so I'm not expecting anything from it. And I'm an old guy, and I could use the money. I'm disabled, as you know, but whatever. Anyway, my history. I told you about my history. Then that was a communist country I grew up in, and I escaped in 1979, lived in Austria for a few months, then I went to Italy, to Rome, and studied at the Gregorian University at the last department of the last Roman university, where all lectures were still in Latin. Yes, folks, I was schooled in Latin. And then I came to America, well, in 1983, and I've been here ever since, except I've visited a couple times back home, but rarely, as I can't afford it financially, and as I said, I'm disabled, and I'm 6'4" or 193 centimeters. I'm tall, and those airplane seats are way too close for somebody in my condition to suffer through for like 16 hours or whatever. It takes 3 flights for me. I live in Wisconsin. I have to fly from here to what is it? Minnesota, St. Paul. From there to Amsterdam, and from Amsterdam to Vienna, and somebody has to pick me up from the Vienna airport. Vienna is only 35 miles from Bratislava, where I'm from. And the airport is even closer. It's the biggest international airport close to Bratislava, my home city. Gosh, I'm telling you too much about myself. I'm a very private person. I don't like to do this, but the software is taking longer than I was hoping. Oh no, it's hopefully coming to the end. I don't know. Let's see what happens next. Well, shrunk from 30 gigabytes to 6.5 gigabytes. Let's see it. ls-la. Pi, the same file, but it's now only 6.9 something gigabytes. It says 6.5 because, of course, a gigabyte is 1024 megabytes, and a megabyte is 1024 kilobytes, and a kilobyte is 1024 bytes. That's why it looks like 6.9, but it's only 6.5 gigabytes. Anyway, what we need to do next, we're going away from this and type df- no, we don't have to do it. We can Control D out of this, and we come here. See this? Upper right corner, drive, select the driving menu to eject safely. SanDisk Cruiser Glide is the thumb. It has been ejected. It is now safe to remove the device. And I'll see you momentarily after I take out that cruiser and put it back into my Windows computer for the final episode of this video. Very well, back in Windows, we're ready for the final step. You may notice I now have a drive I, Seagate Backup Plus drive, which was 1.67 terabytes free, and I have the SD thumb. We can take a look at that. There is our 6.76 and so on, our shrunk thing. And so what I'm going to do is zip it. Yes, create a zip file from it. And by the way, let's just do something before I do that, just to show you. If you right-click it and you have 7-zip on your Windows computer, you can click on Open Archive and it will show you what's there. And here's the FAT, and I'm not going to click on the other one, but it's only 6 gigabytes or so. And the 1.img, that's the actual Linux drive, and I'm not going to click on it because it would have to unpack it first, and we don't have time for that in this video, so I'm going to go, I am already here in drive H, and instead of using 7-zip, I have zip.exe, the original, because I have Segwin on my computer, so I'm going to use that, but you can use any zipping software. So I'm going to type zip-9, that's maximum compression -O. It'll keep the file date, that is there, -M. It will move it to the zip file and delete it from this. And where am I sending it? I'm sending it to drive I colons /pi dash 2019 -03 -03 .img.zip. Don't forget the .zip. And this is the file we're going to zip into that directory. Okay, adding pi. And look at this, it's creating interesting. It's creating a temporary file called ZM1, and it's going to take a while. So this time I think I'll just speed up through it, because this may take forever. The fact is, it will create a zip file in my backup drive, and it will delete this file from the thumb drive, and you know what, let's not wait for that to happen. So folks, that's it. Just trust me that the zip works. And why am I deleting it, moving it from the thumb drive? So I can reuse it again. And these thumb drives do not last forever either. I've had so many of them break up, fall apart. So don't store any important data on a thumb drive. Store it on a real hard drive. as I am doing with this Seagate backup drive. Okay, that's it for now. Hasta la pasta! Oh, you know what? Let's have an epilogue. Let's find out how much it was reduced. It says 58%. It says it right here. But let's see what that means. It's down to 2.8 billion bytes from 6.9 billion bytes, which was down from 31-something billion bytes. So that's a big difference, even though it took a while, and as you can see, there's nothing left in the H drive, which is the thumb drive, just as was expected. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering about this castle, it's in the town of Smolenice in western Slovakia, in Little Carpathians. It was built in 1912 by Count Palffy, who never got to live there because 1918 was the end of the monarchy. But I spent there every single vacation since my early teens till right after my dad died when I was 27. A wonderful place, and I have a lot of great memories from there. And now, for real, hasta la pasta.